NVDA has a buy signal. Apple just broke out of its wedge. Tesla is starting to see this head and shoulders play out to the upside. Amazon looks like it has a head and shoulders that could play out to the upside. The Qs look like they have a head and shoulders that wants to play out to the upside. But then we have the SPY giving us an indecision candle. Hello and thank you for clicking on my video, and tomorrow we could see these stocks start to moon because of all the structure we're seeing, and the thing that could send these stocks higher will be that JOLTs job openings report that comes out tomorrow at 10 a.m. JOLTs is going to be a little confusing because we want a high number because that would signal to us that the Fed is doing their job and they are probably done raising rates. But at the same time, if that number is too high, then we start to open the door to recession. And if that number does come in lower than expected, then people are going to think that the Fed has to raise rates higher. So we want to pay attention to the reaction from the number that we get tomorrow at 10 a.m. Now, I am going to break down some stocks. I think yesterday we did a good job of showing you guys the bigger picture. Please go to my channel if you want to get the bigger picture, meaning looking at like a monthly chart to see what we are looking forward to, what could happen to push us to the upside, and what could happen and where we could tear all the way down to in a crash scenario. But today on the SPY, we are getting an indecision candle, and that's why I think a lot of this is going to play out because of that jobs opening, or the job openings with the JOLTS report. We want to see if we're able to make a move up to the upside and take out this high here, or if we're going to move lower and go for that 200 by taking out our low from today. If you've been subscribed, we actually called that this might happen pretty much last Thursday, that we wanted to see some kind of head and shoulders form, and that's exactly what happened. So give yourself a pat on the back, maybe even like this video if you did think this information was helpful to you. But we did see that push upward, and now we have carved out our right shoulder, and we have to see if this is going to now confirm to the upside. If this does start to play out to the upside, you can see our measured move takes us all the way up towards that 373 price point. I just want to let you know that if that news is bad tomorrow for the market, we could see this dip down one more time, and then maybe we see some buyers step back in. But overall, if this does come out as good news tomorrow, we could see this play out all the way up into the trend between our two previous highs, all the way up towards that 375 price on the Qs. Big thing I started to pay attention to for Apple, you're going to notice I erased that range that we had going on right in here, because we did notice we do have a wedge that kind of formed here, and we are starting to break out of that wedge. And you see that we could actually launch as high as our second little resistance here, which is that gap fill from the beginning of August. Okay, so we are expecting Apple, if this news comes out tomorrow as good news, to fill this gap right in here, and then possibly even go all the way up to its resistance zone from pretty far back. But remember the bearish case, if we get that daily close below this purple zone and we close down in this area, we could see us going heading straight towards that 200-day moving average very quickly over the next few days. Now, we are bouncing around pretty quickly. I just don't want to give you guys a ton of information to confuse you guys. I really think that JOLTS number that comes out is going to be very important for tomorrow. So that's the main thing I want you to pay attention to. But you would get a thumbs up. I didn't put it on here if you were subscribed for this as well. We noticed this head, or this left shoulder head, and possibly this right shoulder with this consolidation. We actually did break out of that, and it did worry me early in the day because we did come back down into these areas. But you can see pretty quickly over the next 2 hours, we did buy right back up. And so we're pretty much in the same stage. We want to see some strength going up into our gap resistance and our gap fill, and then maybe we can go all the way up into our big triangle that's been forming on Tesla ever since its all-time high. The bearish side to Tesla would just be if that number does come out poor or bad for the market, then we could see the bottom of that triangle down here start to get touched. Okay, so that's pretty much what I'm looking for Tesla as far as bull and bearish cases go, but I really want to be paying attention to that number in the morning. There, I put the thumbs up for you for Amazon. Amazon here, we got that left shoulder, we got a head and right shoulder, and we saw this maybe forming somewhere around last Thursday, and we said this could pop up. Maybe this would be a form of resistance, and this is actually a very good place to coil up. We're above all our moving averages on the hourly. We could see this start to explode to the upside over the next few days, as long as the data we get for the rest of the week is good for the market. We have a lot of data coming out. It's just the first point is tomorrow with that JOLTS. And then by the end of the week, I believe we have unemployment and things like that, which will be very, very important. So we want to pay attention every single morning to the data that is coming out over the next few days. NVIDIA, I don't necessarily want to do shorter time frames, but I believe we can give you your bullish and bearish case. I mean, you do have that buy signal starting to pop up. You have the MACD that has fully crossed, giving us confirmation to the upside. Now, this can be taken away very quickly. So for the bear side, I think overall you just want to pay attention to this neckline. If that neckline starts to break, say tomorrow or within the next couple weeks or something like that, that's where you're going to really want to pay attention, because I believe we are going to see some strong selling once we get past there. Overall, I believe that we are at least going to come up and give us our gap fill. It doesn't mean that we can't get a little bullish, because that is turning around. We could see another touch of the connection between these two highs, this little trend here in the near future, if all this data comes out as very good for the market. Interesting for today that we need to pay attention to is we actually saw these yields start to rise, and we actually saw strength in a bunch of tech stocks and things like that. So we have to figure out, are tech stocks wrong, or is the bond market wrong here? Okay, so is this going to be wrong, or are the tech stocks? And usually I side with the bond traders. But we're going to switch over to TLT and show you guys some stuff. But overall, we still do want this to start to come down in order to see a bigger pop in the market. We do not want to stay up in this unknown area any longer. And if we keep going, then we're waiting, and we're pretty much asking for something in the system to just break. But TLT, you can see we're making a new low. So we need that repricing. I mean, we're seeing those yields start to rocket up. We need some repricing. So here we go. But we're getting another touch here. We're out of our Bollinger Bands. I think overall we could see some kind of pop in yields over the next few days. I'd be a little surprised to see this go lower, but for now, if we do see some kind of pop, we could expect that to possibly go fill a couple of gaps. We can even expect this to start to carve out something like we're seeing in the market right now. Come up all the way into here, maybe give us some kind of right shoulder, and then we can play that little break here with this right shoulder, this head, and this left shoulder. But the real question is, who's going to be wrong? Are the TLT traders wrong right now, or is Apple wrong right now? You know, we just want to really pay attention to the difference between these tech stocks and the TLT. And as we just switch over, we can go to high yield growth. Usually when high yield growth drops off like this, while the market wants to kind of either hold up or go higher, usually this actually turns out that the bond traders are correct, and we do need to see more downside in stocks. We still want to pay attention, look at that data. We are seeing some good setups, so don't put too much into this. It's just something to be aware of as you start trading throughout the week, that you can use HYG to kind of give you that direction of where the market should be going. It doesn't mean that HYG can't drop for 3 more days and the market can't go up for 3 more days to really create that divergence between the two. And then we could see that actual move start to play out in stocks. Very last thing I wanted to touch on was the VIX, and I'll try to do it pretty quickly. Overall, what we're seeing here is the VIX closed below the 200 again. We've been stating for a while that I was a little worried about today because we did pop up, but we did, go way back down. So we did close beneath the 200. You notice we are within our Bollinger Band. So if we do start to see this close again above the 200, then we could see this thing actually get above 20 pretty quickly, and we can see some major downside. I'm overall looking at the bullish case here. I'm looking for a little bit bigger of a pop in the market, so this could come all the way down and fill this gap down here around 1212, which is just a gap from pretty far back that needs to be filled, and then maybe that's when volatility starts to come back into this market. Now, once again, I told you guys I need to market on all of my stuff, but I believe that Thursday, October 12th, when that CPI data comes out, that will be the overall thing that really shakes up this market. We do have a bunch of data this week, but I do believe that the CPI data will be the thing that chooses whether or not we are going to see the next bull run and give us a new high, or if we are going to start making lower lows in the market. Wow, it's really dark in here. The overall takeaway from this video is that we can get a little bullish. We are seeing a lot of signals that are going to the upside, but we want to pay attention to the data that comes out over the next few days, because that data has been really moving us over the past couple years here. So we want to pay attention to that data, but not only, pay attention to the data, but pay attention to how the market actually reacts from that data. Okay. I hope you guys have all the luck in the world trading tomorrow. That's all I got for you. Peace.